Hello and welcome back to WC Marketplace. Today's video is something that you're all worried about, that is payment, or rather the way in which the payment is processed in a marketplace. We all know that payments are a wholly integrated process that includes the involvement of three individual parties: the customer, the vendor, and the admin. While WooCommerce assumed the responsibility of the customer to admin payment, while WCMP on the other hand takes charges on the admin to the vendor payments. We will learn more about this as we proceed with our video. Now let's begin by understanding the flow of a payment process. Customer to admin. In a customer to admin transaction, the checkout process is mostly handled by the WooCommerce. Since WCMP is compatible with all WooCommerce compatible gateways, you can receive payments anywhere. To know more about the WooCommerce related payment inquiries, refers to WooCommerce channel. But for your conveniences, we shall be showing the way in which we can enable the WooCommerce related payment gateways. As always, our starting point is the admin dashboard, from where we shall be selecting WooCommerce and then the WooCommerce settings. Now that we are on the WooCommerce setting page, we shall select the different mode through which we want to receive the payment. Once everything is in place, then select the Save button. Now the checkout flow looks something like this. The customer purchases a product, that goes to the checkout page, makes payment to the admin, and the admin receives the payment and finally pays the vendor his or her share. You can, however, avoid the entire hassle by adding the extension like Stripe, PayPal, and Razorpay, where vendor receives payment as soon as the customer clears his or her bills. Hopefully, we are able to clear your confusion about the first phase of the payments process. Next, we shall proceed to learn about how admin to vendor payments take place. WCMP offers you several methods of payment that you can use for pay your vendors. As always, our configuration starts from the admin dashboard, and from there we shall navigate to WCMP and then click on Settings. Once redirected to the setting page, we shall select the Payment tab where the whole process will take place. In case we have watched the commission video, you would be familiar with the three main sections of this tab, namely the Revenue Sharing section, the What to Pay section, and lastly, How and When to Pay section. But in case you have missed it, you will find it in our channel. In the commission video, you have seen how important the role played by the Revenue Sharing section and the What to Pay section. But in this video, the How and When to Pay section plays a major role. To start off, for the admin to pay the vendor, we must decide the type of payment methods we shall use to make our payment. For this, the options are PayPal PassPay, with the help of which you can pay off multiple vendors at one go. PayPal Payout offers a similar setting to MassPay. Then you have the Stripe payment, which is super easy to set up and use. It is also a convenient gateway for customers preferring to make payments using credit or debit cards. Razorpay, but this option is available only if you have the WCMP Razorpay installed. And finally, the old school way of direct bank transfer. Also, if you opt for any of the payment modes among Stripe, PayPal Payout, and PayPal MassPay, you will notice that there are a few sub-tabs available over here. You can learn in details about this through our upcoming videos on each individual Stripe, PayPal, and Razorpay. Now that we know how we want to make our payments, let's take a look at similar details like the payment gateway charges. As you know, every time a transaction proceeds, there is a certain amount that is deduced by the user. By enabling this option, you can decide who will bear the charges. In this case, the site owner, admin, bears the charges. The fee of using the gateway is deduced from the admin's earnings or commissions. Let's understand that by using an example. For example, a product cost is $100. Vendor commission is 30% and the gateway charge is 10%. When the customer pays $100 for the product owner receives the whole amount. So with a gateway charge of 10%, the admin will get something like $100 minus $10, which is $90. In addition to this, vendor commission of 30% is deduced from this $90. The final amount received by the vendors would be $90 minus $30, which is equals to $60. So the admin receives $60 instead of the 0% admin fee. When vendors bears the gateway charges, a sum for the gateway is deduced from the vendor's commission. Once again, we shall be learning that by using another example. For example, the product price is $100. The vendor commission is 30%, the gateway charge is 10%. In this case, the gateway charge is to be deduced is 10%, which means the amount received by the admin will be $90. But since the vendor is the one who will bear the gateway charges, he will receive 30% minus 10%, which is equal to the $20 as the vendor's commission, while the admin will receive the rest $70. For the third option, if the both vendor and the admin wants to bear the gateway charges individually, the charges for using the gateway get deduced from both of them. For example, the product cost be $100, the vendor commission is 30%, and the gateway charge is 10%. In this case, the vendor commission received would be $30 and the admin fee would be $70, that is 100 minus 30. Now let us apply the gateway charges separately. The gateway charge deduced from the vendor commission, that is $3, 10% of 30. So that the final amount the vendor shall receive is $27. Gateway charge deduced from the admin fee is $7, that is 10% of 70. So the final amount the admin shall receive is $63. Now for the gateway charge type, you can choose the following option. Percentage, to deduce a certain percentage as the gateway fee. Fixed amount, a certain amount would be deduced as the gateway fee. Percentage and fixed amount. Both the percentage value and a certain amount is deduced as the gateway fee. Now that we have figured out how the payment methods, let's learn about how the admins can disburse the payment to the vendors. WCMP allows for two kinds of payment disbursement process: an automatic disbursement or the online process, and a manual disbursement or the offline payment process. The automatic disbursement or the online payment method is the one in which the payment received by the admin is automatically transferred from the admin's account to the vendor's account. When it comes to automatically disbursement payment, you can set up a disbursement schedule based on which vendors would receive their payment. To set up the disbursement schedule, this is what we should do. Under How and When to Pay section, you will select the disbursement schedule option. Once selected, you can disburse the payment on hourly basis, daily basis when at the end of the day the vendor would receive the commission from the product sold on that day, weekly basis. When selected, vendor will receive their payment at the end of the week, fortnightly. Here, the payment sent to the vendor's account from the admin account would reach him after 14 days, monthly. The vendor would receive the commission or the payments every 1 month once this option is selected. Now let's come down to the manual disbursement or the offline payment. When the disbursement process takes place manually, the vendors can request the withdrawal of their commission. Once the withdrawal request is made, admin would transfer the payment to the vendor's account manually. Manual disbursement or the offline disbursement occurs when the vendor selects the direct bank transfer as a payment method. Before a vendor can ask to withdraw his payment, certain conditions are to be set before the withdrawal request can be made. Here is how we will go about it. Disbursement Threshold. The disbursement threshold is the minimum amount the vendor must have in this WCMP banking account before he can request a withdrawal of his payments. You can set the disbursement threshold amount after which a vendor would be able to request a payment. For example, if the minimum amount set by the admin in the disbursement threshold field is $100, Only when the vendor's total commission amount adds up to $100 can he request the admin to withdraw his payments. Withdrawal locking period. The withdrawal locking period is the minimum amount of time required before the vendor can request his payment. You can set the number of days required before the vendors can ask for his commission withdrawal request. For example, if the minimum days set by you is 2 days in the withdrawal locking period, then the vendors will not be able to request a withdrawal till 2 days from the order date. Note: without completing the conditions of the disbursement threshold and the withdrawal locking period, the request button would not appear on the vendor's dashboard. To give the vendors the option to withdraw commission, you will have to select the withdrawal request option available under the How and When to Pay section. Now that the withdrawal request option is selected, you can set the withdrawal charges and the number of free withdrawals. Withdrawal charges. In this field, you can set the amount of money that the vendor has to pay every time he makes a commission withdrawal request. Once he runs out of the free withdrawal request. Number of free withdrawal requests. Before charging your vendors for requesting withdrawals, you can give them a few turns where they request commission withdrawal without paying any fee. In this field, you can set the number of turns a vendor will get for free withdrawal before he has to start paying the fee. Restrict order statuses from withdrawal. This option allows the admin to set which order statuses will be allowed for the withdrawal request. The admin will be able to select the order statuses from an available drop-down menu. On hold, which is the stage right after an order is placed. Processing. This refers to when the order is out of delivery but yet to reach. Completed. This means the vendor would be able to withdraw his or her payment after an order shows the complete statuses. With this important thing out of the way, let's take a look at the other kind of payment that take place. Share coupon discount. This is an interesting option that comes by managing the coupon. Selecting this option would mean that vendor commission would be calculated after deducing the discount, so you would not have to bear the cost of the coupon by yourself. As I'm not dealing with any coupons for now, I'll be leaving it as unticked. Admin created coupon excluded. This option works only if the share coupon option is enabled, but the coupon is created by you. If a coupon is created by you, then the discount amount available on the coupon would get deduced from your commission and not from your vendor's commission. Now going to the tax option. As we are very familiar with the term tax, because whenever we listen to this term, we get a bit intimidated. Anyways, by enabling this option, the tax collected would pass on to the vendor. In case it is not enabled, the tax collected remains with the admin. If enabled, the shipping cost receipt would pass on to the vendor. In case it is not enabled, the shipping cost receipt would remain with the admin. Well, now that you have got a hang on all types of possible payment settings, let's take a look at your vendor's options. When it comes to the payment, vendors do not have to take the burden of setting up the payment, but just managing it. But with WCMP, even that job becomes easy. As always, the story begins from the vendor dashboard and then transport to the payment option available on the left side of the dashboard. Under the payment option, vendors get two sub-options, withdrawal and history. The withdrawal option is only available if you have ticked the withdrawal request option when setting up the payments. With the help of the settings, vendors can request to withdraw their balance before the disbursement date. Let's take a close look at how that can be done. As visible, we are on the withdrawal page. Here, the vendors can select the order ID whose commission they want to withdraw. Also, keep in mind that order whose commission they are requesting must be completed. You can also track your commission in the withdrawal log. The withdrawal log takes note of the order ID of the order on which the vendor is requesting a commission. The commission ID that shows his or her transaction details, the shipping amount in case the vendor manages his or her own shipping, the tax amount in case it is the tax included product. I am going to tick this order and request a withdrawal. As I have ticked my order and now I am going to tick on the request withdrawal button. Now that my request is sent, let's switch to the admin dashboard to see what happens there. I am on my admin account and then select WCM. If you have noticed, here beside my to-do list is the number 1 showing that I have a task. As you see on my to-do list, I have received a request from my vendor account asking for commission. Let me quickly fulfill the request by going to WCMP Commission. Select the commission title, edit, and then change my status to paid. Once done, I will be letting my vendor know that I have completed his request by selecting Notify Available in my to-do list. Now that the vendor commission is paid, I shall return to my vendor dashboard and check the payments, but not the withdrawal option as I had done previously, but the history option. Under the history option, you can see all the transactions that have taken place. This is the transaction log, and here the vendors can track all the transactions based on the date on which the vendor received his or her payments. The order ID here would help him track the orders on which he received the payments. The transaction ID is given to note the transaction between the admin and the vendor. The transaction also helps you know details of your transaction like showing your commission ID, showing the name of the product, the order status of the product, the total amount of the product, the mode of the transaction used by you, and the date on which the transaction took place. Back to the commission ID, it is the unique identification number used to note the commission, so that both you and your vendor can use it as a reference ID if and when required. Fee shows the amount the vendor may have to pay, like the gateway charges, disbursement fees, and so on. And the net earnings refers to the amount you have received as a commission.
With this, we have come to the end of our video. If you like the tutorial, then do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Click on the small red bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. And do not forget to check out the description box below for more useful links. Thank you for watching.